The alien ship floated in silent darkness, far from any human eyes. Inside, Commander Zorith adjusted the glowing console with his long silver fingers. His species, the Vortons, had studied Earth for years. They had captured animals, plants, even machines. But tonight, Zorith wanted something different. Something alive. Something smart. He whispered in his low metallic voice, "Bring me the human." A small light blinked on his control panel, the signal that the teleportation beam was ready. In a quiet corner of Earth, inside a small apartment filled with books and half-finished inventions, a young man named Alex Carter vanished. His coffee cup fell to the floor and shattered. When Alex opened his eyes, he was surrounded by blue light. His breath came fast. Cold air touched his skin. Around him stood creatures taller than any human, their eyes glowing like molten gold. "Where am I?" Alex shouted, stepping back. Zorith studied him silently. "You are safe, human. You are aboard the Vorton ship Ecliptor. You have been chosen." "Chosen?" Alex laughed nervously. "Chosen for what?" Zorith turned toward a large screen showing Earth spinning slowly. "Your species fascinates us. You create. You destroy. You build machines that think, and yet you fear your own shadows. We need to understand you." Alex blinked. "So you kidnapped me? For science?" The alien tilted his head. "For knowledge." Alex's mind raced. His hands were shaking, but inside his fear, curiosity was growing. He was an engineer, a thinker. Even now, part of him wanted to know how this ship worked. The walls seemed alive, like metal breathing. "Let me go," Alex said, trying to sound brave. "I won't help you." Zoritha's voice was calm. "You will help. Because you are different from others. You see what others ignore. We know your mind, Alex Carter. You built a machine last year, the one that learned emotions." Alex froze. No one outside his lab knew about that project. "How do you know that?" The alien turned away. "We see much." For a moment, there was silence. The hum of the ship felt like a heartbeat. Alex realized he was no longer just a prisoner. He was a specimen. But deep inside, Zorith felt something strange too. He had captured many species before, but this human, his eyes held something he didn't understand. Not fear. Not anger. Something else. Defiance. The commander signaled the guards. "Take him to observation." Two Vortons led Alex down a curved hallway glowing with faint green light. The air smelled of ozone and strange chemicals. Behind transparent walls, Alex saw tanks filled with alien creatures, some sleeping, some moving slowly in thick liquid. "Great," he muttered. "I'm in a space zoo." The guard didn't respond. The door slid open, and Alex was pushed into a small room with a single chair and a table. A soft hum filled the space. The walls shifted color like a living organism. Minutes passed. Then Zorith entered, carrying a strange device that looked like a floating crystal. "This will read your thoughts," Zorith said. Alex frowned. "Not happening." Zoritha's eyes narrowed. "It's painless." "I don't care." Alex crossed his arms. "You think you can just take my mind apart like a lab rat? Go ahead. But I warn you, I bite." Zorith paused. The translator chip couldn't fully explain that human phrase. "Bite," he repeated. Alex smirked. "You'll find out." The alien commander felt irritation rise, a rare emotion among his kind. "You will cooperate," he said slowly. But Alex's mind was already working. He had noticed something. Each time the door opened, a faint electric sound came from a panel near the floor. If that was the power relay, maybe he could use it. He didn't know how yet, but he would. Zorith placed the crystal on the table. It glowed softly, scanning Alex's face. Images began to form. Childhood memories, equations, designs of machines. Then, suddenly, static filled the room. The crystal flickered, then cracked. Zoreth stepped back. What did you do? Alex stared in shock. I don't know. The lights dimmed. The ship trembled. A siren blared in the alien language. Zoreth turned toward the door, shouting orders. But in that chaos, Alex saw his chance. The panel by the door was open slightly. Inside, small energy cells pulsed like tiny hearts. He reached for a wire. A shock hit his fingers, but he didn't stop. The door hissed, half opening. Beyond it, the corridor lights flashed red. Zoreth turned back, his eyes glowing with fury. Stop, human. You'll destroy. A violent tremor shook the ship. The crystal exploded into shards of light. For a second, Alex saw the alien's face, not angry, but scared. The sound of alarms filled the air. The ship tilted. And through the window, Alex saw something impossible, a dark shape in space, moving toward them. Something was coming. Something not human. And for the first time, Commander Zoreth felt regret. Not because he had kidnapped a human, but because he might have brought death upon them both. The alarms kept screaming through the alien ship Ecliptor. Red lights flashed like angry eyes, and the floor trembled beneath Alex's feet. He held on to the wall as the ship tilted again, throwing sparks from the ceiling. What is happening? Alex shouted over the noise. Commander Zoreth's metallic voice was sharp. Something is locking onto us. Another vessel, unknown origin. Unknown? You mean, not yours. Alex's voice cracked. Zoreth ignored him and began tapping commands on the control panel that rose from the floor like liquid metal. Strange symbols flickered across the air. His golden eyes narrowed. It's feeding on our energy signal. That is impossible. Alex looked through the small window. The dark shape he had seen earlier was now closer, a huge mass floating in space, covered in black mist. It didn't look like a ship. It looked alive. Is that thing breathing? Alex whispered. The creature, or whatever it was, pulsed with dim red light. Every few seconds, it sent out a wave of energy that made the Ecliptor shake harder. Zoreth muttered, "This region was supposed to be empty. That thing should not exist." Alex forced a shaky laugh. "Well, congratulations, you found something new to study." The alien turned his glowing eyes toward him. Silence, human. But Alex saw something strange. Fear. For the first time, the mighty commander looked uncertain. The walls of the ship began to groan, bending under pressure. Lights flickered. Zoreth barked an order in his native tongue, and several Vorten soldiers ran past the room. One of them stopped, his body trembling. "Commander, the outer hull is melting. Evacuate Sector 5. Zoreth commanded. "Seal the laboratory." The door slammed shut between Alex and the soldiers. He felt trapped again. "Hey, don't leave me here." Zoreth turned to him. "Stay where you are, human." "Yeah, sure. I'll just die quietly in your spacesuit," Alex muttered. Zoreth ignored him, focusing on the screens. The alien creature outside extended a long, black tendril of mist that wrapped around the ship. The metal screamed as if alive. Alex couldn't stand still. His mind worked fast. He saw the broken crystal on the floor, the one that had read his thoughts before it exploded. Some of its pieces were still glowing faintly. He crouched, picked one up, and felt a faint vibration. It was still active, just unstable. "Maybe you shouldn't touch that," Zoreth warned. "Too late," Alex said. The shard hummed in his hand, reacting to his thoughts. It projected faint blue lines in the air, symbols, codes, data. Alex blinked. He couldn't read alien language, but he recognized patterns. It was showing him the ship's neural system, a network of living circuits. He pointed toward the largest screen. "If that thing is eating your energy, why not cut the power from that section? Disconnect it." Zoreth frowned. "You think I have not tried?" Alex's brain raced. "You're using a central core, right? Maybe it's too connected. You need to break the link manually, from inside the power chamber. That chamber is unstable, Zorith said. Entering it means death. Alex smirked slightly. Guess it's a good thing I'm not one of your crew then. Before the commander could respond, Alex ran toward the exit. The door refused to open. He pressed his hand on the panel, but it stayed locked. Zorith hesitated, then touched his control device. The door slid open with a hiss. You have 3 minutes, he said coldly. 3 minutes? You're generous, Alex replied and sprinted down the corridor. The ship shook again. Blue sparks lit the hallway. Smoke filled the air. He could hear alien voices shouting, but none tried to stop him. Everyone was busy saving their own lives. He reached a round chamber glowing with bright white energy. A storm of light swirled inside a transparent sphere, the power core. The tendrils of the dark creature had already pierced parts of it, leaking black energy into the ship's systems. Alex grabbed a piece of broken panel and used it like a tool, cutting into a glowing wire. The energy sparked violently. He gritted his teeth, ignoring the pain in his arm. Behind him, Zorith appeared suddenly, his armor half melted from heat. You'll die in there. Maybe, Alex shouted back, but at least I'll do something useful. He pulled another wire free. The lights flickered. The dark tendril outside recoiled slightly. Zoritha's voice grew desperate. Stop. You don't understand. The core is alive. If you damage it too much. Before he could finish, the core exploded in a burst of light. Alex was thrown backward, hitting the metal wall hard. Everything went white. For a moment, there was only silence. When Alex opened his eyes again, he was floating in zero gravity. Debris drifted around him. Half the ship was dark. The creature outside was gone, vanished into the void. Zorith floated nearby, his armor cracked, a faint glow pulsing under his skin. You survived, he said quietly. Alex coughed, holding his shoulder. Barely. You're welcome. Zorith didn't answer. He looked out into the stars, his expression unreadable. The core, it is damaged but stable. You stopped the energy drain. Yeah, Alex muttered. And probably saved your ship. Zorith turned his golden eyes toward him. You may have saved more than that. You saved me. Alex gave a weak smile. Then maybe next time, you should ask before kidnapping people. For a moment, Zorith said nothing. Then, slowly, he nodded. Perhaps. I made a mistake. The lights flickered again, and a deep sound echoed through the ship, not mechanical, but living. Zorith frowned. That sound, it's coming from inside. Alex's eyes widened. You mean that thing didn't leave? Zorith stared at the glowing floor. No. It's inside the ship now. The faint blue lights along the corridor began to turn red, one by one. The air grew colder. Alex whispered. Oh no, it followed the energy. Zorith clenched his jaw. Then it wants one thing. What? Alex asked. The alien's voice dropped low. It wants you. The red lights flashed one after another, painting the metallic corridors of the ecliptor in a deep crimson glow. A low, rumbling sound echoed through the ship like a living heartbeat. Alex could feel it in his bones. He and Commander Zorith floated in the damaged control room, surrounded by drifting fragments of metal and smoke. Alex whispered, You said it's inside. How can it be inside a ship? Zoritha's golden eyes glowed faintly. That creature is not made of matter as you understand it. It moves through energy, through our systems, our circuits. Alex frowned. So, it's like a living virus? Zorith nodded slowly. A perfect description, human. But this one feeds on thought, on fear. It's attracted to minds that fight back. Alex swallowed hard. And you think it wants me? Zorith looked away. When you broke the power core, your brainwaves merged with the ship's energy field. You created a connection. It can feel you now. Alex floated silently for a moment. The ship creaked around them. Something distant slammed, metal bending under pressure. Then we should get off this ship, Alex said. There is nowhere to go, Zorith replied. We are deep in void space. The nearest planet is days away, even at full speed, and our engines are dying. A new sound filled the air, a whisper. Soft at first, then growing louder. It wasn't words, not exactly. It felt like thoughts being forced into Alex's mind. I see you, little spark. You opened the door. Alex's breath caught. He looked around wildly. Did you hear that? Zoritha's face hardened. It's talking to you. The whisper became a hiss. So bright, so loud. I will taste your thoughts. Alex clutched his head. Get it out of my mind. Zorith reached forward, pressing his palm against Alex's temple. A faint blue light spread from his hand. The whisper faded, replaced by the steady hum of the ship. It's shielded for now, Zorith said. But it will not last. We must find its core. Alex blinked through the pain. Core? You mean it has one too? Everything alive does, Zorith replied. Even darkness. They pushed through the corridor, moving toward the lower decks. The ship was eerily quiet now. No crew, no movement, just floating debris and the sound of energy humming behind the walls. Alex noticed faint black lines spreading along the floor, like veins. It's spreading, he said. Zorith nodded. It consumes the ship. Soon, nothing will remain. They reached the main engine chamber. The once bright room was dim now, filled with floating ash-like dust. At the center was the ship's fusion drive, a giant glowing sphere. But something had wrapped around it, thick, dark tendrils pulsing slowly, alive. Alex's voice trembled. It's feeding on your reactor. Zorith raised his weapon, a silver staff that hummed with energy. Stand back. The alien aimed and fired a beam of blue light. It struck the black tendrils, burning them away, but new ones grew instantly from the shadows. It regenerates, Zorith said. Alex thought fast. Wait. It's not physical, right? It's feeding on your energy, so stop using energy. Zorith turned to him. If I cut the power, the ship dies. We die. Maybe not, Alex said. You said it feeds on thought too. Maybe we can trick it. Zorith frowned. Explain. Alex pointed at the glowing reactor. It follows signals, energy patterns. If we make a false one, something brighter, stronger, it might go for that instead of us. The commander tilted his head slightly. A decoy. Exactly. Like a fake light in the dark. Zoritha's expression softened for the first time. You think like a warrior. I think like a survivor, Alex muttered. The alien began adjusting controls on his arm device. I can redirect remaining power to the old sensor core. If we amplify it, it will look alive to the creature, for a short time. Alex nodded. Then do it. Zorith entered the sequence. Lights flickered, and the ship groaned. It is done. Now we wait. The hum in the air grew louder. The dark tendrils stopped moving. Then, slowly, they began to pull away from the reactor, sliding across the floor like smoke drawn to flame. It's working, Alex whispered. But as the last tendril left, something else appeared. A shadow formed in the middle of the room, taking a shape, tall, humanoid, with glowing red eyes. It spoke in a voice that made the air vibrate. You think you can hide from me? Alex froze. The creature was no longer just inside the ship's circuits. It had formed a body. Zorith raised his staff again, but the shadow moved too fast. It threw him across the room with a wave of dark energy. Zorith! Alex shouted. The alien groaned, smoke rising from his armor. The shadow turned to Alex. You burn brighter than the stars. Give me your mind. Alex backed away. Not a chance. He grabbed a loose wire sparking on the floor and pointed it toward the creature. Electricity flashed through the air, hitting the shadow. It screamed, not in pain, but in anger. Zorith, struggling to stand, shouted, "It cannot die here. Its essence must be contained." Alex shouted back, "How?" Zorith pointed at the glowing power crystal hanging around his neck. "Use this. Break it. And think of your world." "What?" "Do it." Alex didn't understand, but he grabbed the crystal and crushed it in his fist. A burst of white light exploded from his hand, spreading through the room. For a moment, everything froze. The shadow screamed, its form twisting and breaking apart. The light swallowed it whole, and then vanished. Silence. Alex fell to his knees, breathing hard. The room was dark again. Zorith approached slowly, his armor cracked, his eyes dim but alive. "You did it." Alex looked up. What was that thing?" Zoritha's voice was quiet. "A creature older than stars. It hunts energy mines. It followed us here because of you." Alex frowned. "Because of me?" Zorith nodded. "You carry something powerful. Your mind connects creation and chaos. The universe listens to you." Alex laughed weakly. "Yeah, sure. I'm just a guy who builds machines." But Zorith only looked at him for a long moment before saying, "No, human. You are much more than that." And behind them, deep within the ship's shadows, a single red spark flickered again, watching, waiting. The ecliptor floated silently through the void, its hull scarred from the battle with the shadow creature. Red warning lights still blinked in the corridors, but the hum of the ship had quieted. Only the distant groan of damaged metal remained. Alex sat on the edge of a floating console, staring at his hands. He could still feel the pulse of the white light from the crystal, the power that had forced the shadow to retreat. Something inside him had changed, something he didn't understand. Zorith hovered nearby, his golden eyes scanning the systems. "You have survived more than any human should. But that creature, it will not forget." Alex swallowed. "You mean it could come back?" The alien commander's expression hardened. "If your mind continues to project energy, yes. It will hunt you, across worlds if necessary." Alex's chest tightened. "Wait, are you saying it knew about me before I even left Earth?" Zoritha's eyes flickered. "We only learned of you recently. But whatever it is, it knew of you first. The patterns in your inventions, your machine designs, they resonate with its energy. That is why it followed you." Alex frowned, thinking about the lab he had left behind. The one project no one knew about, the machine that could learn, adapt, even simulate emotions. Could that be what drew the creature? "It's my machine," he asked, disbelief in his voice. "You mean, some alien creature in space could feel a machine?" Zorith nodded slowly. "Not the machine alone. Your mind shaped it. It is your creativity, your logic, your thoughts, amplified. That is what called it." Alex's stomach dropped. "So, by inventing it, I almost got myself eaten by some cosmic shadow?" "Yes," Zorith replied. "And you are lucky. Few survive such attention." Alex shook his head. "Lucky? I nearly got vaporized in the middle of space." "How is that lucky?" Zorith said nothing. He looked out into the stars, his expression unreadable. After a moment, he turned back to Alex. "There is more. That creature is part of a network. It is not alone. What you triggered may have alerted others." Alex's eyes widened. "Others?" Zorith floated closer. "Yes. There are beings older than your species, feeding on minds like yours. Your intellect is rare, it excites them. They have rules, patterns, and they hunt anomalies. You are one." Alex swallowed hard. "So, I'm on some cosmic predator list? Just because I built something smart?" Zorith nodded grimly. "Yes. And now, you are marked. That is why I regret taking you from Earth. You should have remained hidden, human. You should have stayed safe. Alex's pulse quickened. Wait, what? You kidnapped me, and now you're saying it was a mistake. For the first time, Zoratha's expression softened. I thought you were a curiosity. Now I see, you are more than curiosity. You are danger, to yourself and to others. Alex ran a hand through his hair. Great. Kidnapped, almost killed by a space shadow, and now a cosmic predator network is after me. Fantastic. Zorath floated closer, lowering his voice. I can protect you. I can train you. But it will take time, and you must learn quickly. Alex blinked. Train me? Like, fight aliens? Yes, Zorath said. And understand your mind's power. You cannot rely solely on machines. You must learn to shield your thoughts, manipulate energy, survive in ways humans never imagined. Alex's mind raced. He had always thought of himself as clever, a genius in his own world. But this was beyond anything he had imagined. Zorath extended a hand. Will you come with me, human? Alex hesitated. He thought of Earth, his small apartment, his machines, and the people he had left behind. Then he looked at the alien, at the scarred ship, and at the endless stars outside. Yes, he said finally. But I have conditions. I'm not just going to sit around while we wait for another shadow to show up. Zoratha's expression remained serious. Agreed. You will learn. You will act. Survival depends on it. The two of them floated in silence for a moment, listening to the faint hum of the damaged ship. Then Alex's gaze fell on the shattered crystal pieces scattered across the floor. He picked one up carefully. Even broken, it pulsed faintly. Zorath, he said slowly. If that creature came for me because of my machine, what if it wasn't just looking for destruction? What if it wants something more? The alien commander's eyes narrowed. It wants your mind, human. It hungers for what you create, what you imagine. That is why it followed you. Alex's heart pounded. So, I'm a target, because I think. Yes, Zorath said quietly. And thinking may be the only thing that saves you. Alex swallowed hard. He realized for the first time that his intellect, the thing he had always been proud of, was now both a weapon and a curse. Zorath placed a hand on Alex's shoulder. Prepare yourself. The universe is far stranger and far more dangerous than you have ever imagined. And it is only beginning. Alex looked out at the endless stars, feeling a strange mix of fear and excitement. Somehow, deep down, he knew this journey was changing him. And somewhere, in the dark reaches of space, other eyes were watching, waiting for the human genius who had unknowingly drawn them near. The Ecliptor floated through the silent void, battered but still alive. Inside, Alex moved carefully along the corridor, holding the broken crystal from the previous encounter. Its faint glow pulsed against his palm, like a heartbeat he could feel. Zorath followed, his tall frame glowing faintly in the dim light. You must understand, he said, the mind can be a weapon and a shield. What you create attracts attention. What you imagine can shape reality. Alex frowned. I'm a human, not a god. I can't just shape reality. Zoratha's golden eyes narrowed. Humans are limited only by belief. Your species creates, learns, and adapts faster than most I have seen. But thinking alone is not enough. You must control energy, emotion, and focus. The shadow will return. And next time, it will be stronger. Alex's heart sank. He had survived a near-death encounter, yet Zorath was telling him it was only the beginning. The commander led him to a small chamber deep in the ship. It was empty, circular, with walls that shimmered faintly like liquid metal. In the center floated a small orb of energy, glowing blue, vibrating like it had a life of its own. This is your first training, Zorath said. Focus on the orb. Use your mind to manipulate it. Do not touch it physically. Alex stared at the glowing sphere. You want me to, what? Make it move. Zoratha's lips curved slightly. Yes. And more. Make it respond to your will. Learn to project energy, to defend, to control. Your mind is the interface. Your thoughts are the power. Alex hesitated. The first time he had built machines, he had felt pride in creating something that worked. But this was different. There were no instructions, no manuals, only instinct and imagination. He closed his eyes, focusing. He imagined the orb rising toward him. At first, it flickered weakly, as if resisting. But slowly, his concentration strengthened. The orb floated upward. Alex opened his eyes. It hovered a few inches above the ground. A small smile crossed his lips. I did it. Zorath nodded. Good. But this is only the beginning. You must be faster, stronger, precise. The shadow does not pause. You will not have time to think carefully when it attacks. 4 hours, Alex practiced, making the orb spin, move left, right, up, down. Each attempt drained him, but also made him feel a new kind of strength. One that was neither human nor alien, but something in between. Suddenly, the ship shook violently. Warning lights blinked red. The ecliptor groaned as if in pain. The shadow! Alex shouted. Zoratha's face hardened. It has found us again. Come. They ran to the observation deck. Outside, a massive black shape loomed, larger than before, with tendrils reaching out like dark fingers. Its red eyes glowed, fixed on the ship. It has grown, Zorath said. It is learning. Alex clenched his fists. Then we learn too. Zorath nodded, pressing a sequence of buttons on the console. Holographic blue energy shields appeared around the ship. The shadow recoiled slightly, but it did not retreat. Alex felt a surge of determination. He could no longer run. The creature wanted his mind. If he survived, he needed to fight back, with energy, with strategy, with his creativity. Alex, Zorath said quietly, use what you learned. Project your mind. Control energy. Make it fight you, not the ship. Alex closed his eyes, imagining a brilliant barrier around the ship. His thoughts focused on protecting, blocking and redirecting. The crystal in his pocket pulsed as if responding to him. Outside, the shadow hesitated. Its tendrils thrashed, striking the ship, but Alex's mental barrier held. Slowly, the dark creature began to pull back, retreating from the ship's shields. Zorath watched, impressed. You are learning faster than I expected. Soon, you may not just survive, you may become a weapon against them. Alex opened his eyes, breathing heavily. A weapon, or bait, he muttered. The commander's expression softened. Perhaps both. But today, you survived. And that is the first step toward mastery. For the first time since his abduction, Alex felt something other than fear, hope. He was beginning to understand his mind's power, and with Zoratha's guidance, he might just stand a chance against the shadow, and whatever else waited in the universe for humans like him. And somewhere, far away in the darkness of space, another presence stirred. It had felt Alex's energy, and it was curious. The game was far from over. The ecliptor floated through the void, scarred and groaning from its earlier encounters. Red lights blinked weakly, warning of structural damage, but Zorath and Alex were ready. Today, they would face the shadow creature directly, not as prey, but as fighters. Alex's hands shook slightly, but he clenched them into fists. The training with Zorath had changed something inside him. He could feel energy flowing around him, responding to his thoughts, and for the first time, fear was only part of the equation. Zoratha's golden eyes glowed in the dim corridor. It has grown stronger, he said. You must focus. Do not let it reach your mind. Project barriers, redirect its attacks. Your thoughts are weapons. Alex swallowed hard. Got it. But if I fail? Zoratha's voice was calm, almost gentle. Then we both fail. You survive, you learn. Fail, and the creature will consume more than your mind. A sudden tremor shook the ship. The shadow had arrived. Its black form slithered through the corridors, flowing like liquid smoke. Its red eyes glowed brighter than ever. Alex gritted his teeth. Here goes nothing. He concentrated on the broken crystal in his hand. Its faint glow pulsed stronger as he projected his thoughts outward. A barrier of blue energy shimmered around him, forming a dome that seemed almost alive. The shadow collided with it. Tendrils lashed at the dome, striking with force, but the barrier held. Sparks flew where energy met energy, and the ship groaned under the pressure. Zorath moved beside Alex, raising his staff. He struck the shadow with beams of concentrated light, forcing it to retreat slightly. Good. Keep focus. Alex narrowed his eyes. He could feel the creature probing his mind, testing him, looking for weaknesses. But he remembered Zoratha's lessons: slow the mind, sharpen focus, and force energy to obey thought. The barrier pulsed and expanded, striking the shadow with a wave of blue light. It screamed, a soundless cry that made the walls shiver. For the first time, Alex saw hesitation in the creature. You're learning faster than I imagined, Zorath said. Push it. Alex nodded, summoning all his willpower. He projected images of vast energy nets, surrounding the shadow, forcing it back. The creature writhed, thrashing violently, but the energy patterns were precise, directed by Alex's mind. The ship trembled violently. Sparks flew from the walls. Panels cracked. The shadow lashed out with one last desperate strike, a tendril aimed directly at Alex. He focused. The barrier flared white-hot, striking the tendril and reflecting it back toward the creature. The shadow screamed in frustration and fury, twisting as it was slammed by its own attack. Zoratha's voice boomed. Now, Alex. Finish it. Alex reached deep inside, pulling energy from the crystal, from the ship, and from his own mind. He imagined a bright, endless light, a force so strong the shadow could not resist. The light shot outward, enveloping the creature completely. The shadow screamed, twisting violently. Its form wavered, fragmented, and then exploded into a cloud of black mist that dissolved into nothingness. Silence followed. Alex fell to his knees, breathing heavily. The crystal in his hand had burned away, leaving only fragments of glass. His mind felt drained, yet alive in a way he had never felt before. Zorath approached slowly, placing a hand on Alex's shoulder. You have done what no human, no Vorten, has ever done. You faced the shadow and survived. You shaped energy with your mind and defeated it. Alex looked up, exhausted and exhilarated. I did it. Yes, Zorath said. But remember, this is only the beginning. There are others, and they will come. Your mind is a beacon now. Alex swallowed hard, thinking of Earth, of the lab he had left behind, and of the inventions that had drawn the shadow. So, I'm not done. This fight isn't over. Zorath shook his head. No. And it will not be over until you learn to control your power completely. But you have proven yourself today. You are no longer prey. You are a fighter. Alex nodded slowly, feeling the weight of the journey ahead. He had survived death, trained with an alien commander, and faced a creature that had almost consumed him. Yet for the first time, he felt capable. His mind, his creativity, and his courage had saved him. Zoratha's eyes softened. You have changed, human. I regret taking you, yet I also see that perhaps your presence here was necessary. You are stronger than I imagined. But there is more to come. Much more. Alex looked out into the stars through the ship's observation window. Endless darkness stretched before him, filled with dangers he had yet to understand. He clenched his fists. Then let them come, he whispered. I'm ready. And somewhere, far in the void of space, other shadows stirred. They had felt Alex's energy, his power, and their curiosity and hunger had only grown. The battle was won, but the war for the human genius's mind was far from over. The Ecliptor floated silently, battered but intact. Alex Carter had survived the shadow creature, learned to control energy with his mind, and gained the reluctant respect of Commander Zoreth. But peace was temporary. Something deep in the void stirred, sensing the human genius. Zoreth stood beside Alex in the observation deck, his golden eyes scanning the dark stars outside. "You have grown stronger," he said. "But this is not over. The network I warned you about, it knows you exist now. Others will come." Alex clenched his fists. "Then let them come. I'm ready." The ship shuddered violently. Lights flickered red. Outside, a massive form appeared, a fusion of darkness and energy, even larger and more menacing than the shadow before. Tendrils of black mist coiled and uncoiled like living snakes. Red eyes glowed in a pattern that seemed almost intelligent. Zoreth's expression darkened. "This is the Prime Shadow, a leader of its kind. It will not attack randomly. It wants your mind." Alex's heart pounded. He had survived before, but this was different. The creature was larger, faster, smarter. Every instinct screamed to run, yet he stood firm. Zoreth stepped forward. "You will need to use everything you've learned. Your mind, your energy, your creativity. Do not rely solely on weapons. You are the weapon." Alex took a deep breath. He focused on the energy within him, the flow he had discovered during training. His thoughts projected outward like ripples in water. The crystal fragments from the previous fight glowed faintly, responding to him. The Prime Shadow advanced, its tendrils slashing through space like whips. Alex projected his barrier, a shimmering dome of blue-white energy, and the tendrils collided with it, recoiling with sparks of black and blue. Zoreth struck with his staff, blasting beams of concentrated energy. But the Prime Shadow anticipated the attacks, twisting and avoiding them with terrifying speed. Alex realized something. Brute force alone would not work. He needed to think, to trick the creature. He closed his eyes and imagined a vast network of energy threads, spreading from his mind across the ship. Each thread pulsed with his thoughts, logic, fear, hope, creativity, and wrapped around the shadow. The creature recoiled, confused. Its tendrils struck randomly, failing to find a target. Alex smiled faintly. "It's smart, but it's not human." Zoreth noticed the change. "It's reacting to your mind, human. Control it." Alex projected his willpower outward, shaping the threads into a cage. The shadow struggled, thrashing violently, but Alex's energy held firm. He could feel the creature probing his thoughts, trying to find a weakness. No weakness, Alex thought firmly. "I am not prey." The Prime Shadow screamed in a soundless, mind-piercing cry. Its form shivered and faltered. Alex pushed harder, pouring every thought, every invention, every dream he had ever had into the energy cage. And then, with a final burst, the shadow dissolved into a cloud of black mist that scattered across the void, leaving only empty darkness. Alex collapsed to his knees, exhausted, his mind burning from the effort. Zoreth approached slowly, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You have done it," the alien said quietly. "You have survived, and you have defeated the leader. Others may come, but none will match your mind." Alex swallowed, still catching his breath. "So, it's over?" Zoreth shook his head slowly. "No, human. There will always be others. But you have learned something vital. Your mind is your weapon, and your creativity is your shield. Nothing can take that from you." Alex looked out at the stars, feeling both fear and exhilaration. He had been kidnapped, hunted, and tested by forces far beyond his understanding, yet he had survived. He had grown stronger, smarter, and braver. "And Zoreth," Alex said, turning to the alien commander. I think I finally understand why you took me." Zoreth's golden eyes met his. "And why is that?" Alex smiled faintly. "Because you knew I could survive. You saw the potential I didn't even see in myself. You didn't just take me, you gave me a chance to become more than human. For the first time, a faint smile crossed Zoratha's face. Perhaps, you are right, human. Perhaps that was my mistake, or perhaps my choice was the only way you could reach this strength. The ecliptor floated silently through the void once more. Alex Carter had survived not just the shadow, but the trials of the universe itself. His mind had become a weapon, his creativity a shield, and his courage an unbreakable force. And somewhere, beyond the stars, in the infinite darkness, other eyes still watched, curious, cautious, and waiting. But Alex knew this. He was ready for whatever came next. The human genius had survived. The universe had taken notice. And the adventure was far from over.